Hello and welcome to this demonstration, part of a series on the Xangati product. And we're going to be this time looking at a data store performance issue, and we're going to use various parts of the product to go ahead and understand what's happening with this issue. We'll use the real-time dashboards, we'll use the advanced analytics that are constantly running, the powerful recordings, and some informative reports. So let's get into it. So we start here. This is the overall VDI scorecard, which provides at-a-glance information about the health of the VDI infrastructure. So data is being collected in real time with second-by-second precision, and advanced analytics are constantly being performed in real time to arrive at these health scores that you're seeing on the screen. And these are scores for performance, availability, capacity utilization, and efficient use of the existing IT infrastructure. Now we're going with a red, green, yellow stoplight analogy. That makes it easy for the administrator to see at a glance what's going on with the infrastructure. So on the left, you can see the types of things that we're monitoring, which would be there are desktop users, and there are 29 of them, right? And they are using desktops. There are 36 of those. Those desktops are being used on client devices. There are 13 of those. Those desktops exist in pools. And then there's a bunch of networks that hook everything together. There's the hypervisor hosts. There's the data stores that they are using. And then there are the storage systems underneath and any supporting servers, maybe like Active Directory servers, DNS servers, things such as that. So Xangati is going in and collecting metrics from all of the silos across the IT infrastructure. And these are being correlated in time to present what is an unrivaled visibility into the end-to-end infrastructure. Now, at the bottom of the dashboard, there's a scroll bar that makes it easy to see how the infrastructure's been running in the past and right up to the current time. We notice that there are some performance issues which have cropped up for some virtual desktops and hypervisor hosts and also some data stores. So what's going on with that, right? So Xangati starts with industry best practices, and we learn from the IT infrastructure. We profile it hour by hour, day by day, so that we can learn what, for a particular metric, what is healthy and when there would be a problem afoot. We call this dynamic thresholds, and each time a dynamic threshold is crossed, a alert is generated and a recording of all of the metrics from all of the silos in the end-to-end infrastructure gets captured. So now by clicking on any of the performance scores, that would take us to the alerts tab. But before we do that, let's just zoom in. Rather than looking at everything, let's just look at performance. Okay, and we can see here are the three hypervisor hosts. In fact, we've got ESX 26 and ESX 27 are two of the top users of the data store in terms of the byte rate. Some of the top desktops that are running in the environment right now would be Zen Desktop 5 and 4 and 2. And this gives us the ability, if we see something that would be, out of line, these top end reports kind of give us a place to start to look if there's going to be, any trouble brewing. Now, looking at the data stores, we see that the top data store by data store byte rate is this one called NetApp NFS. And that's kind of a high byte rate. That's kind of standing out from the norm. So we have to ask ourselves, why is that data store being hit so hard? So now, if you wanted to go in and look at different metrics, right now we're working on the theory that we've got a data store issue, but if we felt we had some sort of networking issue out to a client device, we could, switch over and look at something like HDX round trip times or proc delays or jitter, different things. So these blocks can be moved around, and then the actual metric that's being shown can be moved around. So once you find a place in time that you want to investigate investigate further, this gives the ability to drill down for any component of the IT infrastructure, drill down and see what's going on. So now let's go over and look at that alerts tab then, and we see the infamous wall of alarms. So each one of these alerts, as I was mentioning, has a recording associated with it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get detailed recording that includes everything at the time that the alert happened. All we need to do is just double click on the alert, and that will take us into the recording. And so let's just double click on this NetApp NFS alert and see what we can learn about it. Okay, and now we're looking at a recording. At the bottom of the screen, you can see the time scroll bar, and we can see some of the things, about this alert. At the time that this alert happened, if we look at the top desktops by Datastore IOPS rate, we see that Zen Desktop 3 and Zen Desktop 5 were two of the big consumers, and oh look, Zen Desktop 2, big consumer. And so we can also look at byte rates in the middle of the screen. Over to the right, we're looking at latencies, which look very unhealthy. I like to see 10 millisecond latencies to a data store, and we're looking at some 395 millisecond latencies here. So looking at the bottom of the screen, we see that what we've got here is this alert was a warning, and the leading cause of this alert is in fact a data store read latency issue, and also there's a data store write latency issue. So let's run a report and see if we can learn a little bit more about this. So now we're looking at a performance report, and we're looking specifically at this data store, the NetApp NFS data store. And as you can see, the activity is all over the place. It's peaking and going down and peaking and going down. And we've got the threshold. The write threshold is here in the dotted line, as well as the read threshold. And you can see that a lot of times we're exceeding that threshold value. So this data store is really being stressed. And looking a little bit further down on the screen, we have a very similar picture going on in terms of the IOPS that are being demanded of that data store. I mean, to have 500 IOPS, that's a lot of IOPS. And also the latencies are climbing. So we've got them exceeding, handily exceeding what is a healthy level. So now a little bit further down in the report, we get to see what some of the culprits could be. The users of this data store are, of course, virtual machines, right? It's a virtual infrastructure. And so we can see that Zen Desktop 4 and Zen Desktop 2 are a couple of really heavy users of the data store. So it makes you wonder what they're doing. And then looking a little further down, we can see that whether you're looking at byte rate or looking at IOPS or looking at data store latency, Zen Desktop 2 and Zen Desktop 4 seem to be, kind of on the top of the list. So those are a little bit suspicious, and we might want to know what's going on with those two desktops. Now this problem, if I run a capacity, absolute capacity alert report, then I can see that this problem has been occurring over time, and the orange line is the threshold value that's considered a healthy value. And you can see that lately we've been exceeding that threshold, quite frequently. And so this is definitely gives a good view of the problem. We know that it is recurring. We know that it is worse than it's ever been. And the trend, it's not a good trend. So it would be good if we could get to the bottom of this. So what we do is we go in and we get a monitor up on our friend Zen Desktop 02. And what we see is with the monitor that, starting kind of in the upper left, that the top data stores that Zen Desktop 02 is using when measured by latency would be this NetApp NFS data store. and also top IOPS are also the NFS, the NetApp NFS data store, and the byte rate, which is completely out of control. So this might make you wonder, it's like, with this type of consumption, what is Desktop 2 doing? Well, you see in the upper right here where it says System Performance on the button there. You click that button, and now we will actually go directly into Desktop 02. This is kind of what you'd see if you were, doing a profile management of, just you're on Windows and you bring up Task Manager, right? So we're actually going in, Xangati is going in through WMI, and we're looking at the processes that are running on Zen Desktop 02, and sure enough, we've got the culprit. A lot of these things, are fine, they're in normal bounds, but there's this one process called heavy load, and it is using right now 74% of the CPU. And this is a process that, in fact, the manager of our lab has invented. It regularly kicks off and causes data store contention issues. Why would he create such a thing? So that I can use these dashboards and show you how we go about hunting it down. So this shows you the power of second-by-second precision when looking at the environment. Instead of looking at a particular silo, we're able to look across all of the things that are going on in the IT infrastructure. And with the power of Xangati's VDI dashboard, we're able to troubleshoot and understand exactly the cause of the data store resource contention issue.